Adadin naku fa?
Dari da 76.
To kun ji dai gashi gwamnatin naku ta kafurci da ta karya ga tana taya mutane karya ku ba ku wuce 30 ba ko 20 da wani abu.
Those are the ones who survived. The ones the government of Kwara State, they want the government of Nigeria would want you to, disregard anybody telling you anything different from what they have told you. They lie to you. So they want you to believe that and keep on to that. If anybody says anything otherwise, don't believe them. They are just trying to make you hate the government. Did you see those children? I mean, this is not the first time. If you have been watching Maiyegun or if you have been out there following what's going on in Nigeria, that will be your first time of seeing children in captivity of terrorists. And they will be there for days, for weeks, sometimes months. And the government, they continue what they have to do. There's a community called Chachanji community in Kebbi State. Baba, 5 days ago, the terrorists came into that town, entered their markets, including the town address, and they slaughtered people. I mean, right there, before the smoke settled, right, they've killed over 47 people. 2 days ago. Some of them were actually buried. Let me show you. That's how they were taking the victims, 2 by 2, the bodies in those cars. And they were just transporting them to where they want to go and bury them in shallow graves. You know what shallow graves is? Mass grave. But they have to dig it like they want to build, what do you call it? Soak away. Big, massive soak away, right? Then they will dump the bodies inside, unmarked graves. Do you understand what that means? Their loved ones, their families, their friends, anybody would never, ever remember them or where they were buried or where their remains were left, ever. And that in itself is also very much a spiritual in the sense that for those who have been studying the jihad of the Fulani terrorists for the past 200 years, one thing they are very famous for is to wipe the indigenous people off their own indigenous lands. Their traces never to be seen. All these ones that you'll be saying, our ancestors were there. Our ancestors, we are not leaving our land, this and that. Fulanis don't need to talk to you to leave your land. They will kill you. So once they kill everybody and all of that, after that, when you start burying your dead, right, you won't even bury them. They'll be too much, right, to bury them one by one and mark them and give names. No, you have to bury them in a shallow grave, unmarked or marked, but shallow like that, mass grave. Something that will totally erase all the lineage, erase everything that has to do with that community. And they can do that slowly and slowly and slowly until the entire community is wiped out. They can do that for 100 years. It's just that this is our own generation. This is our own time. The older generation ruining Nigeria. Tinubu is like 80 years old, right? Kwara was like 80. Atiku is also like about 80. All of them, Obasanjo, Kwara, they are like, that one is like 90. Older people. This is Nigeria they have built for us. This is Nigeria they want you and I to also possibly live for our own children. You get that? Yeah. Let's call it Stone by Stone Nigeria Limited. Our generation, we are now witnessing the Fulani terrorists. What the generations who were alive then 200 years ago, right? When Uthman Danfodio started his jihad and he was slaughtering the people that were so good to him, people that hosted him, they loved and cared for him, right? Then he turned the children against their parents until they killed all of their supposed leaders. They called it jihad. And that is what gave birth to Sokoto Caliphate. That is today. You have the Sultan of Sokoto in charge. The great grandson of Danfodio. Do you know that is who Sultan of Sokoto is? Aye. So those, they wiped off the, where you call the Sharia North today. It's the same thing we are now witnessing in Kwara, in Kogi, in Benue, in Plateau, in Jigawa, in Taraba, in Yobe. You know, all these places that are meant to be Niger. and of course, the rest of the country too. So Fulani terrorists, their modus operandi is to wipe you off little by little, so that and when they wipe you off, they don't want you to bury anybody on that land, so that you still want to say, oh, our parents are buried here, our grandparents were buried here, we now have, no, they don't want that. They would rather you probably go and die in one IDP camp, which is what the government has normalized. The numbers of people being displaced from their homes, from their communities, and all of that by these terrorists continue to grow and keeps growing, growing and growing and growing. And guess what? The government just believe that, well, IDP camp, internally displaced people, refugee camps, so for country that is not fighting war. But guess what? They had the Argungu festival the day after, which was yesterday. And Kolu is the father of the day, special guest of honor. He was in Kebbi. He was in Kebbi, but never to please visit Shashanji, because I mean they are just so like peasant. So why should he go there to Shashanji? Kolu in Kebbi.
Come and take a picture with Baba. Go and take a picture. Yeah. First. Are you okay? Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir. Fine, sir. What? Okay. Yeah, okay. Who you will give them?
So Kolu went for Argungu International Fishing Festival, where the local fishers or fishermen, right, are going to go and catch the biggest fish in the lake. And the biggest fish wins the biggest prize. So Kolu, as their special festival, so as their special guest of honor, told them this. Please tell me once you are like, Maiyegun, remove this thing, I beg, but please let him speak for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, right? Kolu.
The fishermen of Kebbi and of various states, I welcome all of you. Congratulations. Well done. Very good show. Remarkable history. Today, this festival has endured for 83 years, and it stands as a powerful symbol of unity, resilience, and peaceful coexistence among our people. It reflects the richness of our culture, the strength of our tradition, and the opportunities that lie in increasing, in harnessing our natural and human resources for national development. Let me first, once again, commend the government and the people of Kebbi State for successfully hosting this year's festival. The organization, security arrangement, and internal outlook of the event demonstrate what is possible when leadership is purposeful and inclusive. Thank you, Mr. Governor of Kebbi State. You are a team leader and you are demonstrating it. There are people in social cultural events like this can only thrive and become a tourism attraction where the security atmosphere is conducive. I am pleased.
Àmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ gbé kalẹ̀ yìí ó dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ọpọlọ rẹ̀ yòrò tàbí ẹni tí Ọlọ́run fi síbi aláṣà àwọn ọpọlọ rẹ̀ bí ọpọlọ ikú ó jọ má bẹ́ẹ̀ tọpọlọ rẹ̀ ò tó nǹkan rárá tàbí ètò wà ń bẹ kó má tiẹ̀ wúlò má rárá.
Dementia. So Kalu just want to be called Mr. President. Do you understand? It is like royalty for him. And if you observe, people around Tinubu, every time I call him Tinubu, I usually have people in the comment that will say, is that difficult, Maiyegun? You don't need to be calling him Tinubu. And I'm like, I don't know. I've been calling him that for the past 15 years, at least in the earliest. Do you understand? So it's so hard. It's like Tinubu. Say now, just say Tinubu and all of that. Ogo kill you there. You the Ronuku, disguising Ronuku. Anyway, if you observe everything around Tinubu, and it's not something that is not synonymous, with others as well. But Tinubu's own is special. If you observe that everyone around him, they are mere praise singers. Every one of them is a praise singer. Now, the reason why is that there is this psychological kind of like belief, right, that they could be beneficial, not directly from Tinubu, but at least from others. Now, people, when they get appointment, they get contract. Maybe if I'm saying something nice and the rest of that, it's going to eventually probably touch me. I'm going to benefit something. You get to put my name up for something. So because of that, they are just there to say, you are the best. Man, your brain. If you see his brain, I said, have you seen his brain? I said, no, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying it like literally. So if you see, Tinubu get brain. So the thing here is that politics is the most lucrative job or source of employment in Nigeria. You need to understand that those who are involved in milking Nigeria, they are more than the ones who have titles, the ones you call you give title to governor, president, and the rest of them. So, and since it is the only surviving source of employment in Nigeria, even for those ones you call big men, or rich one, and all of them, if you yank them off politics, they are finished. They will be done for. Because if you go and check all their track records, listen to this, Nigerian politicians, if you go and check all their track records, you realize that majority of them in your politics, I'm not saying all of them now, I'm saying majority of them in your politics, they are people who have failed in their personal lives, choosing careers and the rest of them, or afraid to survive on their own supposed, careers and the rest of that. So you see some of them will tell you that this one is a lawyer. So he's a lawyer. I've never seen him in Ghana or in court. He's a lawyer, but immediately he left law school. He became local government chairman. He became this or that. He was appointed this or that. They'll tell you this one is a doctor. Say, wow, so a doctor, like a real doctor. Say, yeah, he's a doctor now. He was practicing before. So where? So if somebody who had practiced medicine in that sense, right? If you have an opportunity of being in government, here your professional mind will not tell you that what government can do is so far outweigh what individuals can do, right? So if you are a professional and you find yourself in government, shouldn't that reflect in your presence or participation in that government? But take a look at those ones in Nigeria, and everything they've been doing. You're just going to be like, see, these people go to school at all. He's a PhD, he's a doctorate, he's an engineer of this or that. But yet, again, you see engineers, they will say this one is engineer, but they cannot show you any major construction, like major local constructions. They've used Nigerian engineering, blah, 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 to design this bridge, to design this, that, to design, you know what I mean? They will still have to, because of their grades, they will still have to have, give out that's what they call the contract, so that they can get their own kickback from it. So their supposed professional trainees never reflect in their public lives. Because if you go back to their private lives, they are a bunch of failures. If you see people who are actually making real money, they will tell you they are not interested in politics. Because you have to be that shady. You have to be that, dark-minded. You have to be short-sighted, right? To be able to function properly as a Nigerian politician. Little things that could be fixed will become humongous problems, because that's their job. Where there is no problem, they will create the problems, then they will offer to fix the problems. While they are fixing the problems, they will create more problems fixing the problems. Then they offer you that they want to fix that other problem too. And the problem, no, they finish. It's all intentional. So when you see likes of Tinubu and the rest of them in the state of things in Nigeria right now, and yet they are like almost indifferent, and they are doing their own things, like you get like people are not like dying. If everything is fine, everybody complaining or saying otherwise, they are just, don't listen to them. And that is sad. I need to remind you all the time. Let me show you a bit of that Argungu festival. They caught a fish, a big fish, all right? Just before Kolu left. Yeah, after that speech or before that speech.
Ya iso a wannan wuri kuma ya bada umarni a ci gaba da su a cikin wannan ruwa na matan fata. Muna fatar Allah sa a yi lafiya a ƙari lafiya, kuma Allah ya ba mu nasara. Masunta a shiga ruwa a ci gaba da su. Kamar yadda muke gani, ga wani ma a hali yanzu har ya kamo babban kifi. An fara fitowa da kifaye manya-manya.
Your Excellency.
Da an kawo kifi aka baka kan ɗinka sai ka koma da Allah, koma kifi.
Your Excellency, our special guest of honor, this is almost unbelievable that you could just dive into this river, and the custodian of this river, as you see, is the Emir of Argungu, His Royal Highness Alhaji Dr. Ismaila Mohammed Mira CON.
That's Kolu leaving back to Abuja. And that was yesterday. All right. So that same yesterday, the opposition, ADC, they were having their own meeting in somewhere in Kaduna. All right. And before they could say ADC, they'll say arise. ADC, you say arise. If I say ADC, then you say arise and shine.